Hi guys, it's Kelly here and I'm back with another video. Today's video is actually part of a video hop. This is for Trinity stamps. I am showing you a bunch of stuff that I didn't end up using. What I did use was the Terrific stamps and dies and then the Rainbow die sets. The other ones will be used in the future. I had delusions of grandeur here, and I thought I was going to be making a bunch of cards at one time. And so I managed to make one. So here I've pulled out a bunch of scraps for another card that I didn't make. But it also includes some acetate scraps. So I'm going to be using the cloud border from that Rainbow die set to create a little stencil for myself. If you have the cloud stencil from Trinity, no need to do this. But I wanted to be able to create some stenciling in the background to kind of set the scene for my shaker, I guess. And then I also wanted to include a little rainbow. This one's at an angle just to kind of make it more interesting. And then I will have it kind of peeking out from some clouds. So I'm going to cut the clouds from some white cardstock. And then once I do one side, I'm going to flip it to the other side to cut some more clouds. So let's talk about the video hop before we get too far. This time they're doing something a little different. We're actually all on a playlist, which I think is really cool. So there isn't a hop order, but if you click the playlist below in the YouTube description, then it will play all of the videos, just kind of in order. So you don't even have to do any work, honestly. Like if you're sitting at your desk crafting, you can just hit play and it'll play all of these wonderful videos. They are doing a $25 gift card giveaway, which is great. But in order to enter, like normally you would do like the comment below and stuff like that, but this time they actually have a form for you to fill out. And I did check it out before I did my voiceover just so I could say like what it was. And really there's only like 3 or 4 questions on there, which is basically just like whose video were you watching, in order to get hooked up to the form and like your contact information for them to contact you if you've won. I think. So anyway, they're doing that $25 gift card, and then the deadline to enter is February 6th, and they will announce the winner on the Trinity Stance YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook on February 7th. So that housekeeping is done. And now we're back to the card. So we've done the clouds, a couple of the clouds, and now we're going to do the rainbow. And so originally, I was like, okay, I should be able to do this out of colored cardstock. And then when I was like, it's probably going to be easier to cut it out of white and then color it. And then I'll have the exact match for blending my little dinosaur into the background. And so I did opt to Copa color them, but you certainly could use colored cardstock if you have some scraps and stuff to get rid of, and it would be fine. So here, what I'm doing is, because I use low-tack tape, I know I want to do some ink blending on my clouds just to make them a little bit more interesting to look at. And so to make sure that I'm not doing any ink blending over sticky areas that would be like masking the color application, I just went over it with an adhesive eraser just to be sure. This is the very light, very, very light stenciling that I am doing. It's probably hard to see on screen, but I'm just using just a little bit of Salty Ocean and just kind of working my way up the card. And this is just going to create the background for what my cloud layers are going to sit on. So that way, if you happen to like peek into the background, it looks like there's clouds there too. Now I'm going to make mine into a full front shaker so that it's interactive, but you don't have to. Like you could do all these same steps and it would be a great card even without the shaker. So for the actual clouds, I am going in and adding that same Salty Ocean. But in addition to that, I'm also going to add some what did I ended up adding? Shaded lilac, which is like a blue violet, and then kitsch flamingo, which is like a light pink. I pulled out some other blues, but I actually didn't even end up using them. Another good addition for this would be, what is it? Salvage patina, like a tealish color. Like that would be a good addition as well. Just so they're not like plain stark white, you know what I'm saying? And the reason that I am making this a full front shaker is because this is going to be my little jelly beans Valentine's card. And that is why I pulled out all those other things that you saw, because I had full intention to, which is funny. Side note, I made, the kids' Valentine's cards last year were Trinity as well, because I did the pizza and donuts, and those were adorable, and those were their Valentine's Day cards. I'll have to link that at the end, so you can see them if you're interested, because they were really cute. But anyway, so I had intentions of making both of my kids' Valentines as well as my husband's, but the clock was just not my friend. So here, because I know that my rays are going to be sticking out of clouds on either end, that is how I'm deciding where to add the shading. If you are coloring on a non-porous surface like I am with the glass mat, please make sure that you're cleaning up your colors in between. I'm just using really cheap alcohol and like a rag to clean them up, just because if you leave it there and then you try to go in with the next color, like if I had left the red there, I could pick it up with my orange and drag it onto my paper, and obviously we don't want that. So anyway, adding the darkness where it's kind of peeking out from behind the clouds is just going to add a little bit more interest. If you're like, Kelly, that's way too much work and I just want to color it one color, also totally fine. Something else, which is like a do as I say, not as I do kind of thing, make sure your markers are well inked. Like you can see here how sad my markers are, because they really do need to be re-inked, but I was rushing because I was already kind of up against the clock to finish doing what I was doing. So take the time to re-ink your markers. Your results will be so much better if you do. Why was I up against it? Because I had made a dentist appointment, and this was 2 weeks ago. I'm switching dentists. I really do like the other dentist, but she is out of network, and I had some issues with the last filling that I had, that really just was, I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to switch. But anyway, so this was the first time, and they do like what they call a comprehensive exam. And then like I would also have to get set up for a cleaning, because I am due for a cleaning. But anyway, so during the cold snap that we had, I was due to go, and we ended up having to reschedule it because of the snow. I think it was like a snow day. So anyway, today was the day that I went, and I had asked them previously, like, how long are we talking? And they're like, oh, well, the comprehensive exam takes, the longest, so probably like 45 minutes to an hour. And I'm like, okay, just so I'm prepared for that. So I started working on my things before I left, and then I was expecting to be gone for 45 minutes to an hour. I needed to get gas as well, because I live in Northeast Ohio, and I'm not supposed to let it get down past like half a tank. And I obviously am on a quarter of a tank. So I was like, okay, I'll just go, I'll stop and get gas. And then that should still give me like an hour and a half to get some work done before I need to get Jelly Bean. I was there for an hour and a half. So that nixed any game plan I had. And then I was like, I need to come home and finish this, so that I would have something to put up for the video hop that I have signed up for. And then that meant that like there was no room for 3 cards. I just had to pick one card and do it. And so Jelly Beans won, because I had a very clear idea for it. And this is it. This is the clear idea that I had. And I think it came out super cute. I think she'll enjoy it. So here I am using there's tons of really cute little dinos in this one. And I have great plans for the other ones. But this one with the, what is this, a brontosaurus? I think that's what it is. Or plesiosaurus has fins, I think. I think it's a brontosaurus. Anyway, adorable. And it's got the little heart balloons, and his chubby little tushy is being hauled off by these heart balloons. And I thought that's so cute. And she loves rainbows. And her favorite color is purple. So obviously I'm coloring her dinosaur purple. And I just thought it would be really, really cute. As a Valentine card for her. And the sentiment that goes with it is, you make my heart soar, but soar is S-A-U-R, like dinosaur. You get what I'm saying. It's punny. So anyway, her favorite color is purple, so I'm making her little dinosaur purple as well. And then I'm going to color in the heart balloons as a rainbow, because like when we're doing the little coloring things, like she's a little leapfrog that has like some coloring things on there that we do, and she always wants to color with the rainbow. Like, it's so cute. And honestly, like, I would also like to color with rainbow if I had the option. So anyway, adding the shading, like those back legs are going to be darker, a little bit of shading behind the head, leaving the highlight kind of on the center of the body. And then for the accent color, I did kind of go back and forth about what color to put on there, because like orange or yellow would have looked really nice. Yellow is purple's complementary color, so it would have been like very graphic, like popping off the page. But I knew that I wanted to add my own little spots on top of the dinosaur, just as a little detail thing that I could throw in there to make mine a little bit different. And so I decided to go with blue. I also could have gone with pink, and that would have been, you know, an option as well that would look really nice. But I went with blue because purple is her favorite color. But if you watch my videos, you know blue is my favorite color. So now the little dinosaur is both of our favorite colors. And I thought it was very funny because when I need to get work done, I will usually ask her, like, hey, do you want to come up and have your snack in mommy's craft room? And then she has some shows that she can watch. And so she'll sit in the little chair with her shows and eat her little snack while I finish up anything that I'm working on. And normally, like when we are sitting up here, she'll ask me, like, Mom, what are you doing? And I'll, you know, tell her, oh, Mommy's making a card, or, you know, Mommy's coloring or painting or whatever it is. And then that's usually, like, those are the days that you kind of get those special guest ones, because eventually she'll make her way over and she'll want to do something with me. But today she actually surprised me because she was like, are you making a card for me? And I was like, girl, how you know? You got the ESPNs? What? Like, how did she know I was making a card for her? And I was like, actually, yes, I am. I am making a card for you, but she's not going to get it until Valentine's Day. So anyway, here for the sentiment, I decided to do the white heat embossing on black. I stamped in black. I have the rainbow colors. It's really kind of graphic. And so like, that's the style. So I decided to go with the black. And I think that it was a good choice. I truly do. So I'm using a white detail embossing powder after stamping in white pigment ink. And then once I heat set it, all melted, and then it cooled down, I went ahead and cut it out with the coordinating die. And now we're going to start putting this thing together. So I've glued down my middle clouds, and then I'm going to put my rainbow right through, like right over top of it, and then I'll have those other two pieces that will go on the top and bottom. And so here I'm just kind of getting everything lined up so that I can make sure everything is going to be in its proper place. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to line them all up. I know it's not going to reach to the edge, but my cloud should cover that. So here's the thing. So here I laid them out and I was like, ooh, I don't really love that. Like, I don't love that the big clouds are on the same side. I would very much like if the big clouds were opposite each other. So that kind of got my wheels turning. But in the meantime, I went ahead and adhered down my rainbow. And I'm just using liquid adhesive for this because it is a flat shaker. All of the elements are going to be contained in the shaker. Now, I did one over the summer that was a full front shaker this is actually for my goddaughter. And this one was, again, it was like a full ocean scene, but then I did the full front shaker on top and it was all inclusive. Like it's a sandals, right? It was all inclusive. But anyway, so the reason that I'm keeping it all inside, whereas normally maybe I would glue the clouds, like to the outside as an added element, or the dinosaur that's floating by outside. The reason that I cannot do this is because my daughter will rip it apart. Let's go back to the card. So here I'm like, okay, this cloud, like, there's too much gapping. I need to create a new one that's going to be a little bit like longer, so that way it covers the full cloud. So I go ahead and cut it out and I add all the shading to it, and then I realized that I could have just flipped it over. I literally could have just flipped it over, which is what I ended up doing, and put the smaller edge at the top and it would have covered it. So, but anyway, since I had 3 now, because I thought that I needed them, I layered the 2 at the bottom, which I did very much like the look of, because it added just kind of like an extra little element. So it wasn't a bad thing, but I did have to laugh at myself because it was like, girl, just turn it around. Sometimes you just got to change your angle to like get the right look. So now I have these 2 pieces that are opposite each other. And then for this one, I like the way that the die cut. I just trimmed off this little extra piece, mostly because I didn't want to have to worry about it being glued down and like catching when I was moving things around or with the shaker bits. So I just trimmed it off. And then from there, we're going to glue down our dinosaur and our sentiment after I trim these off. So anywho, so the dentist went much longer than I thought that it was going to. And so I knew I was already being overzealous with like the amount of time that I had versus what I wanted to accomplish. Does anybody else have that problem? Like, I am perpetually optimistic about the amount of time that I have to work with, which is probably why I always run late, because I always feel like, oh, I can get more done in the time that I have allotted to me than I actually can. So here is, I am going to use the same colors, obviously, that I used to color in the rays. And I'm just going to try to line it up to the best of my ability to blend in my little dinosaur. Because I don't like that sticker look of the dies, but I do really like the convenience of having the dies. Oh, you know what? Here's something I forgot to mention. And this is something that Trinity is doing new as well, which I love. They are offering bundles now for like the stamps and dies. So let's say you wanted to get the Terrific dinos, then you wanted the stamps and the dies. If you buy the bundle, it actually saves you money. I think it's like 5% off. But that's something new that they're doing with this release as well. And I think that's great. Like, anytime you can get a deal, if you were already going to buy it and it'll save you 5%, then like, yes, absolutely. So here with my shaker cards, I have found that I typically do tend to like if I glue a few in place. So these ones won't be shaking around and it'll always have like little bits, but I kind of made a mistake. And I'm just being real with y'all. These ones I think are the crystal ball dewdrop bubbles. These ones are probably too fat for a for a shaker card. I'm not body shaming them. They're too tall, basically. And so it kind of made it a little difficult for me to close my shaker, like the wings over top of it, because they was having to stick out too far. It did work, but I would definitely maybe stick with more of like the rhinestones, which are a little bit flatter. So here, again, my own fault. So glad I bought this guillotine trimmer. I literally have only had it for like a handful of months. The shaker is an A2 size, but your card that fits into it should be 4 by 5.25. So that way everything, like you have room for the wings of the acetate shaker to fold over top, like over the sides. And so I left it as an A2, not even thinking about that. And then had to go in and trim it. Well, now we're talking about trimming like 3 and 4 layers. And I just knew like the slider trimmer that I have would not get it done. And so I was able to use my guillotine trimmer, and y'all, it worked like a dream. Like it worked so easy to cut through all of those. Definitely worth the investment there. So here I've peeled off the film. Those shaker fronts all have film on them, so make sure you peel them off so they're crystal clear. And then I'm using the rip and stick tape just around the edges, so that way I can put my card in the center, like you'll put it face down, and then you'll remove the backing from 3 sides. And then that way you can fold those over. I do like to kind of press mine down with a bone folder to make sure I'm getting really good adhesion. And then, you would put this on you leave the top open until we put our shaker bits in. Let's not get too ahead of myself. So here we're going to fold it up, and I'm going to press it in place. I'm kind of going to hold that there while I hunt down my bone folder, because like any good crafter, I obviously have no idea where my items are on my desk. And so I'm just going to put that down and make sure, it adheres really well, and then move on to the next side. So yeah, there were some funny things that happened at my dentist appointment, and I'll have to tell you about them on the next one. It was just like one of those things that was like a comedy of errors. It was very funny. But it did keep me from getting my things done. So I did, like I said, I had to invite Jelly Bean up into my craft room. And sometimes that can be a problem, because then if she doesn't get to kind of play around, she gets sad. But she actually did pretty good today. So now that I have all 3 of those adhered, I am going to start filling in my shaker bits. The first one that I knew I wanted to put in, this is a Valentine after all, is the Shimmer Hearts embellishment mix. It's just like holographic hearts. It's all flat. And Trinity did come out with some new colors of flat, what does she call these? Sparkle dots? Glitter confetti? I can't remember. But anyway, so I'm putting those in there as well. The Vast Ocean is not the shimmer one. It's just like iridescent blue. And then the other ones are the fuchsia, the lime, and the magenta. Fuchsia, lime, magenta, and what is this one? I think this one's just orange. Sparkle dots? Sparkle spots. They're sparkle spots, y'all. And so I put that in there. So there's kind of like a rainbow of colors, because we have a lot of that, kind of white space. And, I want it to be fun for her to play with. Oh, that's what I was telling you about, how she'll just absolutely mutilate my card. So if I leave any elements on the outside, she has a tendency to want to like pull them apart so she can use them as like stickers or other things. So if I want to keep her card nice, I have to encapsulate it like a time machine. I have to encapsulate all of the bits into one, like one with a cover over it. So here I'm just kind of shaking them around. This is the finished card. I was really happy with the way that it came out. I think it's a lot of fun for an interactive Valentine. I hope my little Jelly Bean loves it. So please continue hopping along. That link is below. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I always appreciate your time, and I'll catch you on the next video. Bye.